You know, I've seen a lot of incredible things in hospitals over the years. Sleek machines, humming MRI scanners, those little robot carts that whiz around with medications, but nothing, and I mean nothing, quite prepared me for what I saw when I first laid eyes on the NuraBot. It was one of those moments where your brain has to catch up with what your eyes are seeing. This wasn't just another hospital robot, it had a presence, a calm, confident kind of presence, almost like it knew what it was doing. There was no beeping or awkward clunking. It moved smoothly, gracefully even, and when it turned its head to acknowledge a patient nearby and responded in a warm, fluent, and contextually aware voice, I knew something big had changed in medicine. At first, I'll admit it felt strange. I've grown used to the human hustle of hospital life. Nurses darting between rooms, doctors hunched over monitors, the kind of chaos only an ER shift can deliver. But this was something new entirely. Standing in the corridor of Taichung Veterans General Hospital in Taiwan, I watched this robot not just deliver medication or retrieve files, but actually talk to patients, reassure them. Listen, this wasn't a scripted customer service voice assistant from a call center. This was different. And what made it even more fascinating, it wasn't just a robot, it had a brain powered by NVIDIA. Yes, the same NVIDIA that makes GPUs for gaming PCs and AI models. That's what floored me. A graphics tech giant helping revolutionize patient care. So how did we get here? How did the world of healthcare evolve from steel trays and paper charts to AI-powered nurse robots with conversational intelligence? I remember reading about how robots were first used on the fringes of medicine. Back then, they were more like glorified delivery carts, rolling trays that ferried drugs around the hospital or maybe fetch patient files from the record room. No one imagined they'd do more than that. It was all very basic. Useful, sure, but not transformative. The real turning point came in the 1980s. I wasn't around to witness the debut of the PUMA 560, but in 1985, it marked a critical milestone when it performed a neurosurgical biopsy guided by computed tomography. That was the first hint that maybe, just maybe, machines could do more than hold tools. They could perform medicine. Fast forward to the 2000s, and suddenly rehabilitation robots like Lokomat started popping up. I found those pretty impressive. These were robots that could help stroke patients and people with spinal injuries relearn how to walk. They weren't flashy, but they were effective. Then came humanoid robots like Rayman, able to lift and move patients. Machines that could literally carry the weight for human caregivers. Still, most of these bots were like robotic arms and platforms. Good at physical tasks, but not exactly what I'd call intelligent company. But what really blew my mind, and what continues to keep me glued to this space, is how fast things escalated once AI got thrown into the mix. We moved from robotic helpers to smart assistants. I remember watching a video of Pepper, that little social robot from SoftBank Robotics. It could greet patients, ask how they were feeling, and even provide emotional support. It was cute in a way, not quite nurse material, but closer. Then, of course, came surgical bots like Star, the smart tissue autonomous robot. That thing could suture wounds without human help. No joke, actual autonomous surgery. These weren't science fiction headlines anymore. This was happening right now. And then in walks NuraBot. The name alone has a kind of futuristic gravity to it. It sounds like something from a sci-fi film, but this machine is as real as it gets. NuraBot isn't just a robot with wheels or some pre-programmed assistant. It's built on something much more complex, a collaboration between Foxconn, Kawasaki Heavy Industries, and NVIDIA. Now that caught my attention. I mean, Kawasaki already has a reputation for industrial robotics, and Foxconn knows mass production inside out. Add NVIDIA to that mix, and you've basically got the Silicon Valley Avengers assembling for healthcare. The core of it all is something called the Brain AI system, which runs on NVIDIA's Hopper GPS. Now, I'm no coder, but here's what I've learned. It means NuraBot can do things like understand speech, convert text to natural-sounding speech, and process language in real time. So when it's standing next to a patient's bed, it's not just listening, it's understanding. It knows what you're saying, and it knows how you're saying it. Tone, context, emotion, it's all part of the package. Watching NuraBot interact with patients at the hospital in Taiwan was, honestly, surreal. Nurses and patients weren't just tolerating it, they were engaging with it, smiling, responding, even laughing. One patient asked it about the side effects of a medication, and NuraBot explained in a calm, clear voice, then followed up with, "Would you like me to notify your nurse to follow up with you later?" That's not just functionality, that's emotional intelligence. But let me tell you, what really sets NuraBot apart isn't just the voice or the fact it can process language. It's the way it moves and navigates. This thing isn't bumping into IV poles or scraping walls. It uses high-resolution cameras, LiDAR sensors, and SLAM technology. That means it can scan its environment in real time, build a map, and know exactly where it is, and it remembers. Once it maps an area, that knowledge becomes part of its internal brain. It can move between floors, get to patient rooms, and deliver medications without any help. It's like having a nurse that never gets tired, never gets lost, and never needs a coffee break. And yes, NuraBot handles physical tasks like a pro. It's got robotic arms that can lift, carry, and even help reposition patients who can't move on their own. That's a huge deal. Nurses often put their bodies on the line doing this kind of work, some pulling 12 to 20-hour shifts and walking away with aching backs or worse. NuraBot doesn't get tired, it doesn't need breaks, it just keeps going, taking a big chunk of that physical burden off human shoulders. But what truly got my attention is how it communicates. Using NVIDIA's powerful Riva system, NuraBot can speak multiple languages: Mandarin, Spanish, Japanese, you name it. Patients don't need to struggle with English or wait for a translator. They can explain their symptoms in their own words, and NuraBot gets it. That's not just convenient, that's life-saving. This is part of a bigger smart ecosystem by Foxconn, which includes tools like patient monitoring AI and digital twins for hospital operations. Combined, these tools reportedly cut nurse workloads by up to 30%. Still, I've seen backlash too. A viral video of someone attacking a hospital robot shows the fear's real. People worry we're replacing human care with cold machines, and I honestly understand why. Some folks worry that once these robots become more common, hospitals might prioritize efficiency over empathy. There's this lingering fear that health systems could slowly phase out human roles to cut costs. I've heard people say they don't want to explain something deeply personal to a machine, no matter how fluent or friendly it sounds. There's also the emotional comfort of having someone hold your hand or offer a reassuring smile, something no robot can truly replicate yet. It's a fine line we're walking between innovation and intimacy, and getting that balance right is going to matter more than ever. The other concern, and it's valid, is cost. These machines aren't cheap. We're talking thousands, maybe millions, just to deploy and maintain them. Updates, repairs, replacements, cybersecurity, it all adds up. Wouldn't it be cheaper, some argue, to just pay nurses more? Train more professionals? I can't ignore that logic. And speaking of cybersecurity, let's be honest, robots like NuraBot are handling incredibly sensitive health data, and that's a huge responsibility. One wrong move, and you're not just dealing with a system crash, you're risking people's lives or leaking private medical records. But here's the reassuring part. These systems aren't being rolled out without guardrails. They're held to strict standards like HIPAA in the US and GDR in Europe. That means patient consent, secure data handling, and full accountability. If something goes wrong, hospitals have just 72 hours to report the breach or face heavy penalties. NuraBot isn't the only trailblazer either. Grace, a robot from Hanson Robotics, hit headlines in 2021 as a companion for COVID-era care. With her lifelike face, soft-spoken voice, and ability to hold real conversations, Grace bridges care and comfort. Like NuraBot, she speaks multiple languages, breaking down barriers in global healthcare. Then there's Riotics, building humanoids designed to form social bonds, not just complete tasks. I keep coming back to this idea. These robots aren't replacing human caregivers, they're supporting them. Sure, we'll need rules, policies, and ethical checks, but if we get it right, they could make healthcare not just smarter, but kinder too. Hope. So yes, the age of robotic nurses with NVIDIA-powered brains isn't science fiction anymore. It's here, And whether we like it or not, it's changing the very core of how we interact with healthcare. We need to approach this shift with caution, compassion, and care. These machines should never replace human empathy, but if used wisely, they can enhance it. Maybe, just maybe, we're building a future where healthcare becomes more accessible, more efficient, and more human, ironically, with a little help from our machines. If you found this deep dive into AI nurse robots as fascinating as I did, don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe for more eye-opening stories about how technology is shaping our world. There's so much more to explore, and I'd love to explore it with you.